Good evening, everyone. So we'll continue with the class today. That is the whatever the remaining part from the cement. Okay. So can anybody please kindly let me know regarding my voice as well as the presentation screen, whether it is visible and audible to everyone? Yes, please. Can somebody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. So in the previous class, we have discussed regarding the cement and hydration of Portland cement, how it will get generated and it forms CSH gel at the end. Okay. So in this class, we'll study in depth regarding this hydration of cement. So basically, the cement will get manufactured from various process, as you already know about that, and that whatever the cement it will get manufactured, which will be in a powder form, right? So that directly using that powder form in the aggregate without adding any water means it's like a nil in its strength. Means what? Anhydrous cement that does not bind fine and coarse aggregate means anhydrous is nothing but what anhydrous means without any water. So without any water, if cement is mixed with sand as well as the coarse aggregate, it is not supposed to give any proper strength within the concrete structures. So cement it will get strength when it mixed with a proper amount of water, right? So here that cement it requires, sorry, it acquires adhesive property only when mixed with the water. So the major strength as well as the binding property what you can see. So that binding property you can achieve just by adding the proper amount of water to that cement. So then only that cement will be useful in the construction field. So only by using dry powder of the cement, there is no use in the construction part. Okay. So when it mixed with the water, then only it is going to give the proper strength as well as the binding between the other ingredients like coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. And not only it gives the strength as well as the binding property, and within that cement structures, the chemical reactions that takes place between the cement and water is referred as the hydration of cement. So here hydration of the cement in the sense what? The chemical reaction, whatever it is going to takes place when the cement reacts with the water. So that process we can call it as hydration of cement. Okay. So here the chemistry of the concrete is essentially the chemistry of the reactions between the cement and water. So how that reaction will takes place, when it is going to takes place, so that part we are going to study in this hydration of cement. So chemistry in the sense what? As you all know that the chemical compositions of the cement, calcium oxide will be there, SiO2 will be there, Al2O3, Fe2O3, magnesium oxide, K2O, Na2O, right? So these all are the chemicals of the cement. So when these chemicals reacts with the water, that is reacts with the H2O, so what compound it forms after adding to the water? So that one we'll study now. That's the reactions between this water as well as the chemicals which are present in the cement. On account of hydration, certain products are formed. So when it reacts with the water, that is H2O, certain products will be formed, and these products are important because they have cementing or adhesive value. So here, once the cement reacts with the water, it forms certain product. So that product is most important because it is having certain binding property within that structure, and the adhesive value within its surface of the cement. Okay. And the major thing, the quality, quantity, and continuity, as well as the stability and the rate of formation of the hydration products are important. So here you need to check how exactly the quality will depends by adding water to the cement. If you added more water, how the reactions will take place. And if you added the, with respect to quantity, we can say that when you have added more water, how that reactions will take place. When you have added only little amount of water, how that reactions will takes place. In reaction in the sense this hydration of cement. And with respect to quality, as we know that the proper proportions of the cement, it's like the chemicals, it will be in a proper percentage, like 60 to 67% of calcium oxide it should be there. So like that, the several proportions are being given as per the Indian standard code books. So then only we can say that the quality of that cement is good. So when that chemical proportions are failed with respect to the quality part, means that percentage it may get less or more. So that time the reactions will takes place. So that is depends upon the quality of the cement, and then quantity in the sense by adding water to the cement. And then continuity means that reactions, whether it will be continuously running throughout that completion of the chemical reaction, or it may stop in between and again it may get start. So that is again depends upon the continuity of the what we can say continuity of the reactions between the cement and water. And then stability, so once it is added with the water, whether it is a stable, if you have added more water then it will become water with cement. And when you have added optimum quantity of the water, it forms cement paste. So that cement paste you can use in the construction part. When you have added less amount of water to that, some part will be in the form of powder and some will be with the wet surfaces on the cement molecules, right? So that time you won't get the proper bonding between the cement paste. So you need optimum dosage of water to that cement. So for that, certain tests are there. We'll study that one in the further classes. Okay. And here, that anhydrous cement compounds when mixed with the water, and those reacts with each other to form hydrated compounds of very low solubility. So here anhydrous cement in a sense, yeah, which is purely free from water as well as moisture content. So in that case, when that anhydrous cement compound that reacts with water to form compounds. Hydrated compounds in the sense, once it reacts with the water, whatever the compounds which will get generated, it is purely mixed with the water part. That is of very low solubility. So solubility in the sense what? The ability to dissolve. So that water which is going to penetrate within the cement molecules, especially from the cement molecules to water. Okay. So here the hydration of cement it can be visualized in two ways. So you can see the hydration process from two different ways. You can see from your eyes through direct test. So first one is through solution. The first one is through solution mechanism. So in this mechanism, what it happens, the cement compounds dissolve to produce as per the saturated solution from which the different hydrated products are get precipitated. So for this test, what you can do, I mean, for this particular mechanism, you need to take a small amount of cement and just you put on the water surface, might be which is filled with water bucket and all. So that time what it happens, suddenly it won't get immersed in the water samples up to a certain time, which is going to float on the top surfaces, and then gradually which is going to goes down of that particular water bath. Okay, so here what you can see, when the water content is more, that procedure it is going to take at the earlier time. Yeah. And here from different, from which the different hydrated products get precipitated. And here for the second possibility, that is like when you have added less amount of water, so that time what it happens, I mean through the second stage, I mean in the second mechanism, what it happens, in the first mechanism only on the upper surface of that cement parts which is going to react by the presence of water, right? So now in the second phase is that water which is going to penetrate within that cement molecules, and then that actual hydration process will takes place, right? So that time when that large quantity of the water is there, that hydration process of the cement which is going to takes at the earlier time. And when the less content of the water is there, and it forms the solid state, and that is converting the compounds into the hydrated products, and which is starting from the surface and proceeding to the interior of the compounds with the time. So proceeding to the interior of the compounds in the sense, within that cement molecule, that water which is going to penetrate, and then it starts with the actual process of hydration. Okay, and here the former mechanism that may predominate in the early stages of the hydration in view of large quantities of the water being available. So here nowhere the water scarcity is there, just by adding the available of the water, it forms the actual process of the hydrations at the earlier time. Okay, and then moving on to the next concept, that is heat of hydration. So till now you have understood about the hydration process. So hydration process is nothing but what? The reactions, the chemical reactions between water as well as the cement. Okay, so now heat of hydration. So here the first point you can consider, the reaction of cement with water is exothermic. So exothermic in the sense which is going to liberate some amount of heat. Okay, so when that water reacts with the cement, it is going to liberate some amount of heat. So that process we can call it as exothermic. And the reaction liberates a considerable quantity of heat, and this liberation of heat, which is called heat of hydration. So it's simple as the hydration process. So when the hydration process takes place, it liberates some amount of heat. So that is only the heat of hydration. So heat of hydration definition will be the chemical reactions between the cement and water that is going to liberate some amount of heat. So that process we can call it as heat of hydration. Okay, and here the study and control of the heat of hydration that becomes important in the construction of concrete, especially dams and other mass concrete constructions. So here you need to concentrate more on this heat of hydration. The main reason is when you are using concrete in large constructions, such as in mass constructions like dams, and in high-rise buildings where the large quantity of the concrete is required, in hydraulic structures like construction of bridges and all. So why you need to concentrate more on this heat of hydration in the sense, when it starts with the, I mean reacts with the water, so at the earlier time which is going to give certain amount of heat liberation, so you need to concentrate more on that part, so that we need to reduce that heat of hydration process as much as possible. And here you can see the facts behind this heat of hydration. It has been observed that the temperature in the interior of the large mass concrete is 50 degrees Celsius above the original temperature of the concrete mass at the time of placing, and this high temperature is found to persist for a prolonged period. So it's nothing but what? When you added water to the cement, so whatever that reaction which is going to take place, that is chemical reactions, so that is going to liberate some amount of heat. So because of that heat, what it happens, the temperature within the concrete structures which is going to increase 50 degrees Celsius than the normal one. For example, now it is 27 to 28 degrees Celsius. So when at this temperature you have added water to the cement, so it is going to liberate some amount of heat. So that heat which is going to increase about 50 degrees Celsius, right? So that is like that 50 degrees Celsius will be there only at the prolonged period. It means only at the starting period of the time because of certain compounds which are present in the cement. And here you can see that below shows the pattern of liberation of the heat from setting cement and during the early hardening period. So here you can see in this figure clearly I have explained regarding these facts. So here you can see this x-axis that shows time, and whereas y-axis that shows rate of liberation, that is calorie per gram per hour. So just you think this is the rate of liberation of the heat, that is indicates with the y-axis, and then x-axis that shows the time durations. So here you can see at the zero part means when at the initial stage of the cement, when you have added the water, that rate of liberation will be to the this point at 6, right? So here gradually when the time increases from this part, which is going to reduce, so which is going to reduce and reduce. So you can consider here around 2. Okay, so for 2 hours, that initially the rate of heat liberation will be reaches to the this 6 point, I mean this 6 calorie per gram per hour. So here gradually which is going to decrease, however the time which is going to increase. So when the time is going to increase, this rate of heat liberation which is going to decrease like this, and then again after 2 hours again it is going to increase with its particular liberation of the heat, and again gradually which is going to decrease. The main reason behind this early heat liberation and after certain period whatever the heat again which is going to liberate, so that is because of the some of the compounds which are present in the cement. That one we are going to discuss now. So here on mixing cement with the water, a rapid heat evaluation lasting a minutes occurs. So within a shorter period of time, that heat, I mean the liberation of heat which is going to reach at this peak point. Okay, within a shorter period of time. That is this heat evaluation is probably due to the reactions of the solution of aluminates and then sulfates. So the main reason behind the early liberation of the heat, that is because of sulfate, that is SO3, and then aluminates such as Al and all. SO3 and then aluminates. Because of these compounds, that early liberation of the heats will takes place soon after adding water to the cement. Yeah. So now this initial heat evaluation ceases quickly when the solubility of the aluminates is depressed by gypsum. Okay, that is descending pK. The the reason why it is going to decrease. So as we all know that in the manufacturing process of the cement, we have added gypsum to the clinkers, right? So there I explained about the applications of the gypsum, why exactly we are going to use gypsum in the cement products, so which is going to reduce the heat of hydration process. So now that gypsum which is going to reduce this hydration process, gradually it comes down like this, right? And again it reaches here for 2 hours. You can consider approximately 2 hours here. So till now it is going to decrease, that is the heat of liberation which is going to reduce by adding gypsum. You can see the descending peak A. So descending peak A, in the sense this is ascending of A and this part is descending of A, I mean the decrement of the heat of liberation in this graph. Okay, and then next the heat evaluation is an account of the formation of ettringite, and also it may be due to the reactions of C3S, right? So now whatever after 2 hours again whatever the heat of liberation, I mean liberation of heat which is going to takes place, so that is the ascending part of E. So for everyone it's audible and visible, right? Please can anyone confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So the main reason after the decrement of the heat of liberation from point A to here, that is because of gypsum. Now again after 2 hours, again the curve is going to rises. That is because of what? C3S, the compound C3S, what we can call tricalcium silicate. So yesterday we have studied about box compounds. So here because of this C3S, tricalcium silicate, this ascending part of curve B can be occurred. Okay, so this increment of the heat of liberation, it can be taken place by this C3S compound, that is tricalcium silicate. So again after however the time which is going to increase, the curve, it's, I mean the reaction of the C3S with water will takes place, and then which reaches up to this point, and again due to the time consumption that curve which is going to decrease and it is going to nil at however the time which passes, that heat of hydration process which is going to nil. Okay, and here the different compounds of hydrate at the different rates and liberates different quantities of heat. So here the heat liberation, which is purely dependent upon the box compounds. You can see the C3S, C2S, and then C3A, C4AF. So these are the chemical compounds, I mean the box compounds of cement, right? So in this case, that heat of liberation which is purely dependent upon these box compounds, and these box compounds are formed the different chemicals which are present in the raw materials, right? So ultimately these all are related one with each other. The C3S compounds which is purely dependent upon the chemicals which are present in the raw materials, right? So if the chemicals which are varied in raw materials, even in C3S also the percentage of C3S it will get varies, right? So they are all interrelated with each other. The thing is like different compounds of hydrate at different rates and liberates different quantities of heat, depends upon the chemicals which are present in the cement. That heat of liberation will takes place. Okay, now the figure 1.3 shows the rate of hydration of the pure compounds, since that retarders are added to control the flash setting properties of C3A. So these retarders are nothing but these are the admixture name it is. This is a name of chemical admixture. In the introduction part we have discussed, we will get two different admixtures. One is mineral admixture, which is purely in the powder form. Second one is chemical admixtures, which will be basically in the liquid forms. Okay, so here these retarders basically used in the cement, I mean in the construction part, just to control the flash setting properties. Flash setting in the sense earlier setting of that cement. Soon after adding water, it will leave for a certain period of time and then it will get harder. So that time when you have added retarders, which is going to control that flash setting properties. Okay, and then here actually the early heat of hydration is mainly contributed from the hydration of C3S. So tricalcium silicate, which is the main reason to form this hydration process. Okay, I mean the heat of hydration which is mainly contributed, so whatever the heat which will get generate up to a 50 degrees celsius, so that is purely dependent upon this C3S compound, that is tricalcium silicate. And here the fineness of cement also that influences the rate of development of the heat, but not the total heat. So here fineness of cement in the sense basically the cement molecule size which will be down to 300 micron, right? So basically the size of that cement molecules or cement compounds, it should be down to 300 micron cu size. Okay, 300 micron cu size, it should be less than that. So here what it happens, even that finals also, fineness, I mean the size of that cement also, which is dependent, influences the rate of development of the heat. That is why this fineness will be main reason for this means when the surface area of that cement molecule, if it is more, then what it happens, that heat of, I mean hydration process which is going to reduced. So when in one big particle if you have made two, so that time that surface area of that two molecule will be larger than one big molecule or one big compound. So there, because of that extra surface of the cement, which leads increment in the heat of hydration. So here the total quantity of the heat that is generated in the complete hydration, that will depend upon the relative quantities of the major compounds which are present in the cement. Clear? So here you can see in this graph, so this graph that shows fraction hydrated to time. So time which shows in x-axis, and then in y-axis you can see the fraction hydrated, means how much heat liberation that is caused by different compounds. So here C2S, you can see it starts with C4AF here, and then C3A is here, and then C2 C3S, and then C2S. So how you can see these compounds will get generate heat in the cement compounds when it is added with water. So here you can see this initially the C2S. So initially the liberation of the heat by using this C2S compound is very less. However, the time which is going to increase, that rate of hydrated process which is going to increase, right? You can see this curve. So however the time passes, the height I mean the liberation of the heat which is going to increase in this way. And similarly C4, sorry, C3s. So initially the fraction hydrated will be at this point, and then gradually however the time increases, that curve which is going to increase. Okay, and this is basically the semi-log graph, so that the curves which will be get differs than your normal graph. And then here C3a, initially that heat liberated from the C3a will be more, and basically however the time increases, the rate of liberation also it will get increases because of this C3a compound. Similarly C4af also, that heat will get generate at this form as it shown in the figure. Okay, and then the basic properties of these compounds which are formed, we have seen so many box compounds which are present in the cement. Which are those? C3s, C2s, C3a, and then C4af. There are basically four box compounds what we have seen. C3s means tricalcium silicate, C2s dicalcium silicate, C3a tricalcium aluminate, C4AF tetracalcium aluminoferrite. So these are the four basic compounds which are formed during the cement process. Okay, and we'll see the basic properties of these compounds, what exactly it will do in the cement part. First one is calcium silicate hydrates, that is which is C2s and then C3s. So during the course of reaction of C3s and C2s with the water, the calcium silicate hydrates, and it abbreviates it with CSH gel and calcium hydroxide. As we have seen in this manufacturing process of cement, I will just go back to this slide, right? In this part. So here you can see this C3s and then C2s. We have already studied this just by adding the hydration process. I mean, when it reacts with water, hydration in the sense when these compounds reacts with the water, it forms C3S, sorry, CSH gel, and along with that, calcium hydroxide, which will get generated. Right, the same thing they have given in this part. Okay, and it is the essence that determines the good properties of the concrete. So here easily we'll come to know that how exactly that property of the concrete will be just by forming this CSH gel. So CSH gel, which is nothing but which is going to give the standard cement paste when that cement is added with optimum dosage of water. So when you have added large quantity of the water, it forms too lean, means cement will be in a different part and water will be in a different part, means it won't provide the proper binding between its own molecules. When you have added less amount of water, that time what it happens, some particle will be absorb the water, and since it is a less quantity of the water, all the cement molecules it won't absorb the water, it forms dry in its state. And when you have added optimum dosage of the water, so that time all the cement molecules which reacts with the optimum dosage of the water and it forms standard cement paste. Okay, so here that is purely dependent upon this CSH gel, and the CSH gel which is depends upon the proper proportion of this C2S and then C3S. Okay, and it makes up to 50 to 60% of the volume of the solids in a completely hydrated cement phase. So once it starts with the hydration process and it forms hydrated compounds at the end, so that in that entire hydrated compounds 50 to 60% which is occupied by this C2s and C3s. Okay, and it can be see that C3s produces a comparatively lesser quantity of calcium silicate hydrates and more quantity of calcium hydroxide. So here when this C3s reacts with the water, it forms lesser quantity of that calcium silicate, means CS whatever it will comes that process, but whatever the byproduct it forms, calcium hydroxide, that is CaOH twice. So this CaOH twice, which is mostly generated by this C3S compound. Okay, and then this calcium hydroxide is not a desirable product in the concrete mass. It is soluble in water and gets leached out, making the concrete porous, so particularly in hydraulic structures. So basically the usage of this calcium hydroxide, so once it forms with the CSH gel along with this calcium hydroxide, so this calcium hydroxide, nowhere it is concerned with, I mean nowhere this application of this calcium hydroxide can be seen in construction part. Only the proper CSH gel which is used, I mean which is formed by adding optimum dosage of the water, that will be useful in the construction field. So however, this calcium hydroxide, which is soluble in water, since it contains H2O, H2 as well as O, right? So along with that, calcium oxides also it will forms. So this calcium hydroxide, or I can write here, this calcium hydroxide CaOH twice. It is combination of I can write calcium oxide, right? Calcium oxide is nothing but what? This is lime, right? And here along with this calcium oxide it liberates water also, right? So it forms like this calcium hydroxide only I can write in this form, which is these reactions and all, it is not there for you actually, but still for the understanding purpose I am going to explain. So once it liberates with the water and all, so basically this calcium hydroxide, what it will get generate after adding to the water, so this one it can be soluble in hydraulic structures like in construction of dams, bridges, canals and all. So this particular part which is easily, which is going to soluble in water. Okay, and here this C3S readily reacts with the water and produces more heat of hydration, as we have already know about this. The major heat of hydration it can be takes place by this C3S gel. And here it is responsible for early strength of the concrete. So whatever the strength of the concrete or cement it will get generate, that is because of this C3S compound. I mean the early strength. So within a shorter period of time, like within 7 days of curing, within 28 days of curing, right? So that early strength it can be gained by this C3S compound as it is described in box compounds. Okay, and the cement with more C3S content is better for cold weather concreting. So cold weather concreting in the sense where that temperature is too less. So in that case, if you have added this C3S compounds more, so which is going to liberate some amount of heat. So because of that heat, it will be much advantageable for that particular building. And then C2S that hydrates rather slowly compared to C3S, and here the rate of hydration will be comparatively less than C3S. Okay, C2S and C3S, they are just like brothers. Okay, so here because of this C3S, that heat of hydration will be more, and even it is the main reason for early strength. But here in C2S, this hydrates rather slowly. That heat of hydration will be very less in the C2S compounds, and it is responsible for later strength of the concrete. So the brother C3S, it is reason for early strength, and one more compound that is C2S, which is responsible for later strength. So later strength, which is nothing but after certain period of time. Early strength in the sense within 7 days and all. So later strength in the sense after 28 days, whatever the strength it will come for that cement. So that is gained by this C2S compounds, and it produces less heat of hydration. And here the calcium silicate hydrate that formed is rather dense and its specific surface is higher. And in general, we can say that the quality of the product of hydration of C2S, which is better than the produced in hydration of C3S. So here, whatever the liberation of the heat will be C2S, which is comparatively better because C3S is the main reason to evaluate larger quantities of the heat. At the earlier part of the cement reactions with the water, what it happens, this C3S which is going to liberate large quantities of the heat. So that forms what the compounds which are present in the cement and all, which is difficult to mix with the other compounds because of exothermic reactions between the cement and water. So comparatively C2S, which is better than the C3S during in the hydration process. And still three more compounds are there. Okay, so calcium hydroxide, that is CaOH twice. So this constitutes around 20 to 25% of the volume of solids in the hydrated paste. So once the cement reacts with the water, so it forms certain paste. So that paste, it consisting of calcium hydroxide also. So that calcium hydroxide which will be there in this percentage, that is 20 to 25% will be there in the total volume of that solids. And the lack of durability of the concrete, which is an account of the presence of calcium hydroxide. So you can see the cracks which are present in the concrete structures. So that cracks, that is because of various aspects. If the reason is because of the concrete, then the presence of this calcium hydroxide in the concrete will be the main reason for the durability part. Okay, and then the calcium hydroxide also reacts with the sulfates, that is CaOH twice, that reacts with sulfates like SO3, which is present in the soils or water, to form calcium sulfate, which further reacts with C3A, and that causes the deterioration of concrete. So deterioration of a concrete in the sense which is going to reduce the quality of the concrete. So that is because of what? This calcium hydroxide, you can see at the top, calcium hydroxide that reacts with the sulfates and it forms calcium sulfate, CaSO4. So that calcium sulfate further it reacts with this C3A, and that causes the deterioration of the concrete. Means that loses, that concrete which is going to loses its property. Either it may gets with the cracks, or either it may gets with the molecule breakage or separation of the ingredients within the concrete structures. So this particular process we can call it as sulfate attack. So sulfate attack in the sense what? In the cement paste, this calcium hydroxide reacts with sulfate and it forms calcium sulfate. Okay, it forms the calcium sulfate. So further this calcium sulfate reacts with tricalcium aluminate and it forms, it deterioration the concrete. So that time this particular process we can call it as sulfate attack. The only advantage of this calcium hydroxide is being alkaline in nature and maintain pH value around 13. So alkaline is nothing but which is the pH value is more than 7. Okay, so in the concrete which resists the corrosion of the reinforcement. Since you have used so many steel bars and all in the concrete, so that time that iron, I mean the steel bars whatever we can call, so that iron content reacts with the water and it forms the corrosion. So that one it can be reduced by this calcium hydroxide. That is the only advantage of this calcium hydroxide which is present in the cement. So next is calcium aluminate hydrates, that is C3A and C4AF. Okay, so we'll see. The reaction of pure C3A with the water is very fast and this may lead the flash set. So flash set in the sense the early setting of the concrete or cement which can be done by this C3A. And to prevent this flash set, I mean the early set, we are going to add gypsum while manufacturing of the cement after it is comes out from the rotary kiln. Okay, the quantity of the gypsum is added as a bearing on the quantity of C3A which is present. So depends upon this C3A which is present in the cement molecule, that percentage of gypsum it will get vary, like 2% or 3%, right? So I say 2 to 3%. That is because of the total content of this C3A in the cement. And here the hydrated aluminates do not contribute anything to the strength of the concrete. On the other hand, their presence is harmful to the durability of the concrete. So here the hydrated aluminates like C3A and all, sometimes which is purely which is related with the strength aspects, and in other hands this compounds like C3A and C4AF, they are going to reduce the durability part of the concrete, and it is convenient to discuss C3A and C4AF together because the products formed in the presence of gypsum are similar. So basically these belongs to one category, C3A and C4AF, and about two elements or products or compounds, whatever you can call, that is C2S and C3S, belongs to one part, right? So togetherly this gypsum and alkalis goes into a solution quickly, and the solubility of C3A is depressed. So when it is added with the water, the solubility of the C3A, which is directly reduced. On hydration of C3A and C4AF, product called the calcium aluminates trisulfate hydrate is formed, which is also known as ettringite. Okay, so this graph will just, it is showing with the compressive strength and age. So for 7 early strength, whatever you can see, the C2S, the, I mean, in the early strength for 7 days, whatever the 30 Newton per mm square or MPa, both are same. So this 30 MPa, which is generated because of this C3S. So what I said, in the early strength of the concrete. So early in the sense, so within 7 days only we can get this much strength. So that strength purely it is gained by this C3S. And then again you can see the later strength, whatever it will get generated in the concrete, that is because of C2S. So here whatever the strength it will come, so gradually which is going to increase, so that is because of this C2S. So similarly C3A and C4F, they are generally, they are less concerned with the strength, so strength will be basically less by these products. So the main reason to get the strength, that is C3S and then C2S. Okay, so transition zone we'll discuss in the further class. Okay, just place your name and USN as a part of attendance. We are having meeting at 5, so just finish it as early as possible. Again, if you're having any doubts, just you can text or text in the chat box, else just you can ask directly. Just you can unmute and you can place it. You can disconnect the call.